Hello, fellow fraggers. My name is Frag himself, and today for Fragging Fridays number 12, we are going to be playing not one, but 3 decks for Red Shadow. By the way, before we start, you might notice that I uploaded it a little bit earlier than I do before, and that's because for a lot of you guys, Fragging Fridays happened on Saturdays, so I decided to upload it 12 hours before that, so that you guys will be able to see it all on Friday. So, it will be more like a real Fragging Fridays. So with that said, let's see what our first deck is going to be. Right, so this is the first deck we are going to play. Now this is kind of a random deck. As you can see, it doesn't really fall in any category because it's kind of defensive, also offensive with 2 attack cards. But the strategy with this deck is really just to get as many frags as possible and to get as many Sombrero bombs on the opponent's bunker. I think that Hannibal and Red Shadow are going to do a good job at getting a lot of frags, and I have also a very strong defense with Shino-B and Pollo. I actually had this idea from Flag, which played a deck similar to this, but with Ronin instead of Red Shadow. So I think that Red Shadow is going to do a good job at this deck, but I mean there's only one way to test it, right? So let's get into a game. And by the way, I'm going to do one game for every deck, so the video isn't going to be an hour long. And let's see who our first opponent is going to be. Alright, so yeah, Master God from BTS Army. Yeah, so we're gonna be playing Red Shadow for this whole video, by the way, guys. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about how good I think he is now. But, spoiler alert, I think that he's really good and probably better than most people think he is right now. Now, this is not a very high level opponent, unfortunately. Yeah, rip. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. The Mechanite wall blocks the boomerang. So if we compare him to Ronin, say, a lot of people have been comparing him to Ronin. He is slower, but I think besides that, he's got everything better than him. Like, I get speed is a very important thing, but he's much tankier and he's got actually a lot. I think he's got similar damage. Maybe Ronin might be a little higher, but really not by much. And I don't think, yeah, alright. So we got our first win here. It was a much weaker opponent. And that's usually what I play against in the beginning of the season because I don't have a lot of trophies. But yeah, I mean, we had the chance to be a lot more aggressive, but this deck can work with stronger opponents if you play a little bit more defensive. So let's get into our next deck, which is going to be this one. So yeah, this is a deck that I think is going to work really well in Street Frag. And since this is a Street Frag challenge happening right now, I thought we might as well just throw in a Street Frag game in Fragging Fridays. Why not? And we're gonna have the chance to play a little bit of Red Shadow in Street Frag, which is not something I've done yet, but I've decided to try it out. And yeah, let's get into a game here. Alright, so this is gonna be a bot, of course. We can't have a Fragger himself video without playing against a bot. So yeah, as I was saying, I think he's better than Ronin, and the reason for that is he's tankier. He's got more damage slightly with his ability that can... Yeah, that's it. Alright. That can like give him some range and also a little bit more damage than the Ronin slash dash, I think. Not by much. Oh, missed it. Crap. It's a little bit harder to play, I think. Red Shadow, because it's not as easy to aim with his ability. Like Ronin, you can just use it at any time, and if you miss, that's not too bad because you have some kind of like mobility boost. But it's not the same with Red Shadow, because Red Shadow, if you miss it, you kind of waste it, and it doesn't help. So finally, our third deck. Actually, this video is really not long, so I might play 2 games with this deck. It's this one. So this is a very, very aggressive deck. Probably even more than some of the earlier decks that I've played. And it's got one defensive card, which is Dunkan. And by the way, Dunkan, you can push him very, very well. So it's possible that I just switch to Dunkan and play even more aggressive with 5 offensive cards. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still gonna try to play some Red Shadow. And by the way, I haven't actually talked about his implants, and maybe I should. I actually decided, of course, walk speed is the thing that he needs the most. So the walk speed implant is the most helpful for him, I think. Outside of that, you know, regenerate health, probably the best defensive implant. And if you want to go, by the way, check my implant tier list. You should have the link on your screen right now. And finally, you know, ability duration decreased by 10%, which is always useful, and an increased fire rate, you know, which is gonna help him have more damage. You know, 10% more damage is not something that you will refuse, right? So yeah, that's the deck. I'm not actually gonna bother putting all the implants on them. Let's get into a game. Hopefully we'll have some good players today. I don't know, actually, when I have 10,000 trophies, it's usually, yeah, it's usually players that have level 10s and, you know, 10s and 11s as cards, and this is usually very easy to beat for me. We're gonna get, oh, both tanks here. Oh my god. How did I miss that? I actually don't know. It's weird, sometimes I just miss for no reason. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I mean, like, Red Shadow can be very efficient, but you need to get his ability well, and that's not something I can do like very reliably. And you know, I'm completely fine with that, because people will need to be good at him, and you know, practice him a little bit, unlike like Zap Girl, which doesn't need really skill at all. Alright, it's looking good. So his Medusa is, oh my god, he switched to Hannibal. Actually, Hannibal might be a very good card to play against Red Shadow, because, well, of course not at level 9, but oh my god, did you see that? I don't know how Medusa can actually like get her shield out that fast. Like, her AI has some kind of properties. She has to, because like she uses her shield while she's stunned by the ability. I don't know why. Yeah, so I was saying, actually, Hannibal is a good card against Red Shadow, I think. A little bit like Hannibal is good against Ronin, because he can usually outlast the Red Shadow damage. The thing about Red Shadow is he doesn't do actually as much damage as Ronin, I think, overall. Maybe he does actually, but on 1v1, Red Shadow is going to be a lot better, because he's tanky. And if he hits his ult, then he gets a health buff. And this is what you saw actually last game. I was in the bunker and nobody could get rid of me, because I had always health buff over health buff, and I could not die. And this actually, I think if I was playing Ronin, even at a higher level, I would have been dead. So finally, I think we can get into one last game here to close up this video. Okay, we're playing against, yeah, I guess, be careful what to wish for. This is a very, very strong player. And the thing about aggressive decks is, when you play against someone that has high level cards, it takes no time for them to, oh come on, Rick Rock with the freeze. Rick Rock AI, oh my god, that's a level 16 Hakuryu with 2 frag powers. And I actually think I'm going to be able to beat him one-on-one. But I mean, yeah, they got like all my bunkers, which doesn't matter much, but yeah, that's it. I have no push at all. I mean, no defense, and that's the problem with aggressive decks like that. So I'm gonna have to defend my main bunker now. With, I guess, Volcano is pretty good, because he's, oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, because he's got like really good damage, so even though he's not as high level, he's able to beat higher level cards pretty fast. Gonna have to beat this Rick Rock, and then I don't even think I'm going to be able to. Yeah, alright, well, that was the last game. We got completely smashed by high level cards, and you know, this kind of stuff's happen all the time. But hey, I mean, you saw my Red Shadow actually beat this level 16 Hakuryu, which I mean, of course, I was in the close range and I got my ult pretty well. And this is not something I could have done with running because to approach a card you need to actually get to them, and I couldn't have gotten to the Hakuryu without my ability. And running ability doesn't go as far as Red Shadow. So yeah, I mean that's my three Red Shadow decks. Obviously, very different decks. I wanted to get some variety, and you know, it's kind of just some decks that I wanted to try out. And actually, this deck is actually probably my favorite one because I mean it's very unique. You don't see these kinds of deck often. I really like some of the AIs in this deck, and you know, I might actually do a video on a deck like that uh, by itself. You know, it's similar to a deck that I've played and on this channel before. Yeah, I was actually playing Hakuryu in this deck. I'm gonna maybe give you a link on the screen or something, but and it's similar in the way that you have to get a lot of frags to get a lot of value out of your sombrero, and all of the cards in the deck are picked because of that. So obviously, you know, street frag deck. As long as you have scrapper, usually you're gonna be fine. But I think Red Shadow is going to be a very good card in street frag because he's good on close ranges, and you know, street frag is a smaller map. Also, the ability cooldown is reduced, and this usually means that the moment that you kill a card, you're going to be able to use it always. So if you kill a card with your ultimate ability, then then you will be able to use it right after, and this is really good. A little bit like running on street frag. And it's possible that actually running is better on street frag. I haven't actually mained running a lot, but I'm not sure because yes, Red Shadow isn't as fast as running, and I've said this like 1,000 times, I know, but the fact that Red Shadow is so tanky is a big deal because he'd be able to survive a lot longer, and for melee cards, that matters a lot. Let's take, for example, like Lucha. Lucha isn't that good, but because he's so tanky, he's able to do a lot of things in the close ranges, and he's able to beat a lot of cards. Like, for example, you're going to be able to beat an Andromeda with Lucha. Even though Andromeda's main fire is much better, Lucha is able to take her out with his big health pool. And actually, it's possible that Red Shadow becomes kind of a tank. He's a little bit like Darius, and Darius was also very tanky. He's a very tanky card. So I don't know what's happening with super tanky cards that the frag devs are introducing, but you know, that's fine, I guess. It makes them unique and a little bit tougher in the meta, but like it doesn't really make sense because he's not built like a tank, right? He doesn't have like that common big hurt box, right? He's not fat, but he is very tanky. Like he might be top 10 tankiest cards in the game right now. Is he even tankier than Marco Pollo? Yep, definitely. Wow. So yeah, keep that in mind. Like when you compare Ronin uh to Red Shadow, he like Red Shadow is going to be a lot tankier, and this matters in the meta right now, I think. And as far as ranking goes, I think he's actually going to be an S tier card, right? In the same tier as Andromeda and some of the other cards. I think he might not make it in the top 10 cards in the game, but he's definitely close. And I think he's better than Ronin, and I think he's better than most people say he is. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys like this video. Tell me in the comments if you actually like me playing 3 decks in one video. And I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.